It's tough to watch something with me. I'll be honest. The family doesn't like to watch anything with me. That's not the right. I thought it was overwritten, and it is overwritten. So it's not particularly well written.
It was the supernatural thriller that fooled everyone with cinema's greatest twist ending. A ghost story where the biggest ghost was hiding in plain sight. The Sixth Sense made I See Dead People.
I see dead people.
A cultural phenomenon. But the real magic was how M. Night Shyamalan hid the truth in every single frame. The script that Hollywood almost rejected before The Sixth Sense became one of the most successful supernatural thrillers in cinema history. M. Night Shyamalan faced rejection after rejection from studios who considered his ghost story too weird for mainstream audiences. The supernatural elements combined with psychological drama confused executives who couldn't categorize the film. They kept asking if it was a horror movie or a drama, Shyamalan revealed years later. They didn't understand that it could be both. The twist ending was considered commercially risky. Studios feared audiences would feel cheated by the revelation that the protagonist was dead all along. What saved the project was Bruce Willis's unexpected enthusiasm for the script. The action star's involvement legitimized the project in studio executives' minds, transforming it from an art house curiosity into a potential commercial success. Willis's star power gave Shyamalan the creative freedom to maintain his vision. The film's eventual success proved that audiences were hungry for intelligent supernatural storytelling that treated them as capable of handling complex emotional and narrative layers. Bruce Willis as Malcolm Crowe, the ghost who didn't know. Bruce Willis faced the unprecedented acting challenge of playing a character who doesn't realize he's dead while still making his performance believable to audiences on multiple viewings. This required incredibly subtle choices that work on both narrative levels. Bruce had to play Malcolm as someone who's unconsciously avoiding the truth, Shyamalan explained. He's in denial about his death, so his behavior had to reflect that psychological state. Willis studied grief counseling techniques and the psychology of trauma to understand how someone might compartmentalize such devastating reality. The most remarkable aspect of Willis's performance is how it gains new meaning after the twist revelation. His interactions with other characters, his emotional distance from his wife, and his fixation on Cole all make perfect sense once viewers understand Malcolm's true nature. Willis took a significant pay cut to work with the relatively unknown director, demonstrating faith in the material that proved creatively and financially rewarding. His commitment to the subtle, understated approach elevated what could have been a gimmicky concept into genuine emotional storytelling. Haley Joel Osment's Cole Sear, a child actor's terrifying performance. 11-year-old Haley Joel Osment delivered what many consider the greatest child performance in cinema history, conveying genuine terror, emotional depth, and supernatural awareness without ever feeling forced or precocious. His casting came after an extensive nationwide search for a child who could handle the material's psychological complexity. Haley had this incredible ability to be vulnerable and strong simultaneously, Shyamalan noted. He understood Cole's isolation and fear on an emotional level that informed every scene. Osment's technique involved creating detailed backstories for each ghost encounter, helping him react authentically to supernatural experiences. The protective measures during filming included child psychologists on set, carefully managed shooting schedules, and constant reassurance that the scary elements were just movie magic. Despite these precautions, Osment fully committed to each terrifying moment. What made Osment's performance transcendent was his ability to convey wisdom beyond his years while maintaining childlike vulnerability. Cole's famous line, "I see dead people," became iconic because Osment delivered it with perfect mixture of matter-of-fact honesty and underlying terror that made audiences believe in his supernatural gift. The ghosts that haunted the set. The memorable dead characters in The Sixth Sense achieved their disturbing impact through practical effects, creative makeup, and subtle storytelling rather than cheap jump scares. Each ghost was designed to tell a specific story about their unfinished business and the circumstances of their death. We wanted each ghost to feel like a real person with a real story, makeup supervisor Vay Neal explained. Their appearance had to suggest how they died while maintaining their essential humanity. The hanging teacher, the kitchen woman, and the vomiting girl each represented different aspects of violent, unresolved death. The practical effects work included extensive prosthetics, carefully choreographed movements, and atmospheric lighting that made the supernatural encounters feel genuinely otherworldly. The production avoided CGI in favor of tangible effects that actors could react to authentically. What made the ghosts genuinely frightening was their emotional desperation rather than simple visual horror. They weren't trying to scare Cole. They were seeking help, making their appearances both terrifying and tragic. This emotional complexity elevated them beyond typical horror movie monsters into genuinely sympathetic characters trapped between life and death. Toni Collette's Lynn Sear. A mother's desperate love Australian actress, Toni Collette's transformation into Lynn Sear required mastering a working-class Philadelphia accent while conveying a mother's terror that her child might be mentally ill. Her performance provided the film's emotional anchor, grounding supernatural elements in authentic parental love and fear. Lynn is fighting for her son while not understanding what he's experiencing, Collette explained. She's torn between protecting him and getting him help. The actress studied single mothers dealing with children's psychological issues, ensuring her portrayal reflected real parental struggles. The kitchen scene where Lynn finally believes Cole's supernatural ability showcases Colette's range, moving from skepticism to wonder to acceptance in a single, unbroken emotional arc. Her reaction to her deceased mother's message through Cole provided the film's most cathartic moment. Colette's chemistry with Osment created one of cinema's most believable mother-son relationships. Their scenes together crackle with authentic familial tension, love, and mutual protection. Her performance earned an Academy Award nomination and established her as one of cinema's most versatile character actresses, proving that supporting roles could be just as powerful as leads. The clues hidden in plain sight. The Sixth Sense rewards multiple viewings through carefully planted visual and audio cues that reveal Malcolm's true nature from the very first scene. Shyamalan embedded clues throughout the film that most audiences miss initially, but become obvious once the twist is revealed. The most significant visual motif is the color red, which appears whenever the supernatural world intersects with reality. Red doorknobs, clothing, and objects mark moments when ghosts are present or influencing events. This color coding provides a roadmap for understanding the film's supernatural logic. Malcolm's interactions with other characters reveal his ghostly nature. He never speaks directly to anyone except Cole, people don't acknowledge his presence, and he wears the same clothes throughout most of the film. These details feel natural on first viewing, but become meaningful clues upon rewatching. The film's sound design also provides hints. Malcolm's voice has a slightly different acoustic quality, and certain scenes include subtle audio cues that suggest his otherworldly status. Even the temperature drops that accompany supernatural encounters apply to Malcolm's presence, though audiences don't initially recognize this pattern. The twist ending that changed cinema. The revelation that Malcolm Crowe was dead all along represents one of cinema's most perfectly executed plot twists, working both as shocking surprise and inevitable conclusion. Shyamalan's writing made the twist feel earned rather than arbitrary, transforming audience understanding of everything that came before. The twist had to be emotionally satisfying, not just intellectually clever, Shyamalan explained. Malcolm's realization about his death allows him to finally help Cole and find peace. The ending works because it completes both characters' emotional journeys. Cole finds an adult who believes him, while Malcolm fulfills his professional purpose. The influence on subsequent thriller films was immediate and lasting, with countless movies attempting to recreate Shyamalan's success through similar revelation-based storytelling. However, few achieved the emotional resonance that made The Sixth Sense's twist genuinely moving rather than just surprising. What makes the ending endure is how it recontextualizes the entire film as a story about redemption and acceptance. Malcolm's journey from denial to understanding mirrors the audience's own discovery, creating a shared experience of revelation that enhanced the film's emotional impact and cultural staying power. The supporting characters' hidden depths. The supporting cast of The Sixth Sense contributed essential atmosphere and emotional depth that elevated the film beyond simple supernatural thriller into complex character study. Each minor character served specific narrative and thematic functions while feeling like complete individuals. Olivia Williams as Anna Crow delivered a masterful performance as a grieving widow, though audiences don't realize her true situation until the final revelation. Her scenes with Malcolm take on completely different meaning once viewers understand she's mourning her dead husband rather than dealing with marital problems. The classroom sequences featuring Cole's interactions with teachers and classmates effectively portrayed childhood isolation and the adult world's inability to understand children's unique perspectives. Real child psychologists consulted on depicting trauma responses authentically. The dinner party scene where Malcolm attempts to communicate with Anna showcases Williams' subtle acting. She's responding to supernatural presence without consciously recognizing it. These supporting performances created a realistic world where supernatural elements felt believable because the human relationships remained authentic and emotionally grounded throughout the fantastical circumstances. The Philadelphia setting as character. Philadelphia's historic architecture and urban atmosphere became integral to The Sixth Sense's supernatural storytelling, with the city's aged buildings and cultural history providing perfect backdrop for ghostly encounters. The production utilized Philadelphia's unique character to enhance the film's themes. Philadelphia has layers of history that made it perfect for a ghost story, production designer Larry Fulton explained. The old buildings, the winter atmosphere, the mix of working class and historic neighborhoods created the right emotional landscape. The city's cold gray winter provided visual metaphor for the characters' emotional states. Specific locations became crucial to the story's impact. The church where Malcolm and Cole first connect, the hospital corridors, and the row house where Cole lives with his mother. Each setting was carefully chosen to reflect the characters' internal journeys and the supernatural themes. The production challenges of filming in a working city were significant, but the authentic Philadelphia locations provided atmospheric elements that studio sets couldn't replicate. The city's genuine history and character enhanced the film's believability, making supernatural elements feel grounded in real-world authenticity that elevated the entire production. The temperature drops and supernatural rules. One of The Sixth Sense's most brilliant storytelling elements was establishing consistent supernatural rules that governed how ghosts interacted with the living world. The famous Cole breath moments weren't just atmospheric effects, they were crucial clues about the film's internal logic that most viewers didn't consciously recognize. We needed rules for how the supernatural world worked, Shyamalan explained. The temperature drops, the way ghosts appeared, even how they could manipulate objects. Everything had to be consistent. The visible breath in certain scenes indicated supernatural presence, including Malcolm's interactions with Cole. The film's supernatural rules extended beyond temperature changes to include how ghosts remained trapped by their unfinished business, why only Cole could see them clearly, and how they could influence physical objects. These consistent parameters made the supernatural elements feel believable rather than arbitrary. The legacy, redefining supernatural cinema. The Sixth Sense fundamentally changed how supernatural thrillers approach storytelling, proving that horror and emotional drama could coexist in sophisticated, commercially successful filmmaking. The film's influence extended far beyond its immediate box office success. The Sixth Sense showed that audiences were hungry for intelligent supernatural storytelling, film scholar Dr. Carol Clover noted. It elevated the horror genre by focusing on character development and emotional truth rather than just scares. This approach influenced countless subsequent films that attempted similar psychological depth. The movie launched M. Night Shyamalan's career as a major filmmaker, though later attempts to recreate its success often failed because they focused on twist endings rather than emotional storytelling. The film's legacy lies in its demonstration that supernatural elements serve story and character rather than existing for their own sake. Modern supernatural thrillers continue referencing the Sixth Sense's techniques, the use of color symbolism, subtle foreshadowing, and twist revelations that recontextualize entire narratives. The film's lasting impact proves that the best genre filmmaking transcends its specific elements to explore universal human experiences through fantastical circumstances that illuminate rather than obscure emotional truth. If you've enjoyed these Sixth Sense revelations, watch it again and catch every clue you missed. Sometimes the most important truths are hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to finally see them clearly.